Welcome back to Wedding Mayhem. We have Lizzie from Boujee Music here with us today. You're co-hosting with me?
I am. I'm very excited.
And we are car twins.
We are. It's a really important thing to have, to make sure that you've got your cars in common with your friends.
That's hilarious.
That pulling up today was a joy.
We followed you. I followed you going, I wonder if that's Lizzie. And then you got out and you went, hello. And I went, oh, we have the same cars.
I know.
Same makeup.
Good taste. We've got good taste in cars.
Same coffee.
Same coffee. Just anything else the same at the moment?
I don't know. I only met you 5 minutes ago.
We'll discover it. We'll discover it soon.
Thank you for coming back as always. And we've hit our 3.5 million views on YouTube, and you got us there with your episode.
How exciting!
So your episode's just aired. And we've had some lovely comments come through, and one in particular that I want to read out. So today's episode is going to be a mixed bag of questions from the public, supplier questions, because we have this box that is literally half full and we're not getting through it, and people are asking when their question's going to be read out. If you are sending us questions in and it's urgent, I will reply back to you if you need an instant answer, and then we'll put it in the box for a later date. So there were some people that we had to get back to quite urgently this week, and I hope you're okay. So I had this one come through, and it says, we wish we had a Lizzie from Boujee Weddings, music, for our wedding. Sound cut out on our first dance midway through. The band packed up and left after the venue refused to switch it back on.
Oh,
this is here in the UK as well. I do know the venue, but we're not allowed to read it out. I cried so much. We had no music until my matron of honour rang a friend who had speakers, and she plugged in her Spotify. The venue tried to switch it off, but our best man sat in front of the switch. Can't name the venue as we are in a legal court battle to get our money back, as it was not in their paperwork or their contract.
Can I just say, this is so frustrating. Not only because I come from a position of I want to fix that and I can't fix it now.
Yeah. So if you haven't listened to the episode, go back because it was the reel that we put out that it happened to you.
Yeah.
And you literally went out on a mic and just sang.
Yeah. I mean,
you didn't go on a mic, but
I'll take you back with it was the whole sound limiter conversation as well, wasn't it? Where if the decibel limit hits a certain amount, it will just cut out all the sound. And in that position, I have found myself many times, because certain venues have different limits, and this is also, it's getting better now as people are becoming more aware, and these conversations are really important.
I'm so shocked that people are not aware, because I wasn't aware of it. This is 24 years I've been doing this, and it wasn't until last year that I was aware of it.
I know. Well, this is why we're here to spread the good word, because ultimately, you need someone to take the reins in that situation. And so that we have a number of songs that we will sing a cappella and get the whole crowd to sing along. Because venues sometimes, when there's too many cooks and they don't know where the switch is and they don't know how to reset it and they don't know where this is, and that can happen.
Or you have a manager change.
Or a manager just, someone's done the day shift and then someone's changed over to the evening shift. And so someone needs to take the reins, and it's the lady at the front with the microphone, and that's me, and also with the big mouth. So I can shout across the dance floor and get everyone to sing with me. The thing about that story that upsets me is that, aren't we all there for the same reason?
Yes.
To make them have a good day. Why are there people pushing back?
Yeah.
Why are they trying to ruin the day?
Yeah.
That sounds to me, if someone has to sit in front of a switch and guard a switch, why are they trying to ruin someone's wedding day?
Yeah.
That's really
because you've got a
upsetting.
matron of honour and a best man. Well done, guys, by the way.
Yeah,
pick your people wisely. Pick these guys, good friends.
Yeah.
There's a fight going on here. This is not good atmosphere.
And everyone knows about wedding day energy, and people say to brides and grooms, just make sure you just enjoy the day and be present, so that the energy, everyone will feel your joy and on the day. Yeah. And if things are being pushed back at you all the time on the day like that, on the evening, where it's actually, I always say this to the bride and grooms, this is your time in the evening, because the music's so loud.
Let your hair down.
Let your hair down, take your shoes off, dance on the dance floor. That's really, as you can tell, I get quite upset about that.
Yeah.
Because I just think
we had loads of those come in, but that one in particular really upset me.
It's ridiculous. It's like they've taken the money and they've decided on the day that we're done now.
Job's worth. It is wrong, but we had another question come in, and sorry, these are on my phone because they were coming in thick and fast last night, and I didn't have my printer.
We won't tell you off for being on your phone.
And this one came through, and she says, "But how can I make sure my venue does not have a limitator?"
Oh yeah, well, this is straightforward in the planning, early days, conversations with your venue. It's really hard. It's a bit like looking for a new house.
Because they say it's not in their contract.
Well, yeah, it's really important because some venues might try and cover it up.
Yeah.
And also,
when we say covering up, are we saying it's very small print in the contract?
I would say sometimes they know it could impact the atmosphere a bit.
Right.
So I think that sometimes they will maybe leave it in the small print or not bring it up. And like you can understand why they might want to do that if they want to secure the booking. Also, I would say Google image search what a sound limiter looks like. So if you're looking around your venue, have a look.
Ooh.
And then you can see on the wall, it'll always be somewhere visible. It might be near a stage, which is where they pick it up.
So it's like a little black box?
It's a box, and it has a number of lights across the front, and that's when the green goes to orange, goes to red, and then off.
Oh, this is like Squid Games.
Exactly.
Just finished, by the way.
Oh, I'm too scared. I'm too scared for Squid Games.
I love it.
But yeah, it's exactly like Squid Games. But yeah, have a look in your venue. Have a look around.
But when we had DJ Lee Russell on, he said that sometimes it's in a cupboard, like a fuse box thing.
Oh yeah, it can be in a cupboard. But there have been venues that I've seen
where they manually do it.
Yeah, I think they do like it. So there are different types of sound limiters, but the most common one is the one with the traffic light system.
Okay.
And the reason that it tends to be out is because if the band are playing, they can look at the traffic light system, and as it's going green, 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 orange, 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 we can see as it's leading up to it.
Right.
And if say we can tell which instrument is triggering it.
Yeah.
So we can be a bit like, on the drums, like have some hot rods, which are just, softer playing instead of the sticks.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are ways against
So I had another question come, it's not on this one, where they had this issue, tried to reclaim money, and the hotel venues said, not a problem, you were aware of it, that your band were aware of it, they didn't keep within the limits, so you should go back to the band and ask for money back from the band.
No, see, this is where communication is key in the early days and this is why it's like with any part of your life, acquiring yourself with the amount of knowledge that you need to do something. I know it's hard. Weddings are really, it's a one-off event in your life, maybe, and hopefully, and sometimes it's difficult to get all the information that you need to ask in those early planning days. But I do think set expectations and be like, if they say we've got a sound limiter and then you say, well, we've booked, a heavy rock band to perform, will it cut it out? Ask these questions. Will this be a problem? What's the decibel limit? Like, learn that. If music, and by the way, this is only if music is a really important part of your day, because it might be that music isn't the part that you're, that's...
I just think that music brings everybody together.
I'm biased.
Yeah, but I'm not really, I love to dance. Yeah. As you've probably heard.
Love a boogie.
I dance like I've got no bones, according to Lauren, but, so whether I know, you spat that out. Welcome to Wedding Mayhem, everybody.
Yeah, so you dance like you've got no bones.
But I wouldn't say that I know, all the words to a song. Definitely don't know all the words to a song or anything. I'm here, there, and everywhere on my music. Whereas John, absolutely, he's spot on with music, and it's really important to him. But I think music just brings everybody together, whether you love it or hate it.
It does. Look, it's the uniting force on your wedding day. Everyone will have heard the same songs in their lives, whether it's be in the radio on the way to work or be, in your everyday life in a shop. Everyone's heard the music, and ultimately, like we have said today, especially on our podcast when we spoke, everyone comes from different parts of your life, and the music does bring everyone together. Everyone knows a dance move, you know.
Really important. She, this girl goes on to say, I have just found out that my venue has one. What can I do? I'm hearing so many horror stories. I'm starting to get really upset about it now.
It's not the end of the world.
Okay.
Don't panic. That would be my advice. And you know what? If your band will know about sound limiters and how to work around them and how to work with them. Ultimately, most bands these days are kitted out with in-ears in their ears. So they have
what?
In-ears. So
in-ears?
Yeah, so inside our ears are little molds where we pop them in our ears. They're like speakers. So we can hear the band really clearly, and we can hear ourselves back singing, performing. So that
would be no good for me. I already have voices in my head. I don't need any more.
I think when we have a band leader, it is quite funny because sometimes there might be the odd joke in your ear as you're singing like Treasure or something. It's quite fun. But you know, we can hear. Generally, the band, it won't affect the band's performance because I always think that a band loves to, as soon as their sound is really good, they perform so well.
Yeah.
They can hear everything. And I think in-ears these days, amazing. Everyone can hear everything crystal clear. It won't affect your band's performance. And sometimes with these venues, they have those overhead speakers over the dance floor, which is just directing the sound above the dance floor. So the people on the dance floor will hear it really clearly.
But the people on the outside.
But
what about the people? Right, okay. So I'm the girl that goes to the toilet and then I hear my favourite song and I'm literally running out the cubicle, pulling up my knickers, wiping as I go.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not going to hear that. I'm not going to hear my favourite song.
I know. You're going to have to not go to the toilet in those venues.
I'll just do what they do on marathons then.
Paula Radcliffe over here. But yeah, I think ultimately, like I said, like it's like buying a house. You know, sometimes you have to make compromises. If you want music to be, you know, the highlight of the day and the most important part of the day and the crescendo, the most amazing experience and sound and loud, then pick a venue that has that, you know. And I think, and also pick a venue with a bar in the same room as the dance floor.
Yes, top tip. And if your bar is not in the same room, invest in a cocktail station.
That's a good idea.
Okay, because wherever the girls are, the boys will follow, yeah?
Exactly. Just like life.
Yeah.
Just like life.
We won't talk about the bins. Jobs.
Gosh.
We will get on to questions from brides and grooms in a mo, but I wanted your opinion on this. I saw this on another podcast, American podcast, fantastic duo. Let me see if I can get it up. Hold on. Is it not going to give me right?
We're hearing content creators that are hired by the couple are getting a little upset that content creators hired by the vendors are overstepping.
It's a mess.
What is it? What are we living in?
What's happening?
Okay? There's so much shit here.
One of our friends told us recently that there were 3 content creators that were outside of the main content creator. There was one for the venue, there was one for the DJ, there was one for a florist.
Yeah.
And
her as the main.
And the main hired by the couple. Now, what happened in this situation that upset everybody involved was that the content creators hired by the vendors were not staying in their designated spaces. May I remind y'all, we support everybody using their own content creators to market for their business. Mm-hmm. But you have to stay in your lane.
My God. Like, if you're hired by a vendor to shoot content for said vendor, that vendor should be in pretty much every piece of content captured.
If you're a DJ.
So that's from the vendor table, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
But I have not heard this. So you're obviously out there seeing it. So basically, suppliers are now having their own content creator, as well as you having your own content creator. That's loads of bodies.
It is a lot of bodies, and it can feel a bit like your wedding's turning into a bit of a filming shoot, you know?
Yeah,
And
where are they getting permission to do this?
This is the important.
I mean, we're already getting with photographers, and I get it. You know, the photographers are up front going, "This is our content," you know, but this is thousands and thousands of pounds of my life.
Yeah.
That you are out there now. We're going to have to juggle with every single supplier having their own content creator.
Yeah.
Are we feeding these people too?
Well, this is the thing. I think ultimately we are moving the Instagram and social media and everything like that is so important to everyone's business nowadays, right? It's so important. Yeah. And also seeing what people do live, like seeing it in action is so, people want to see that. So important.
Why we do this, because our grid, we can all do a good grid.
Yeah.
Okay, but people want to see real people now.
Yeah, it's
because
true.
They are worried about booking people and they're not real.
Yeah, and also AI is so good these days that you feel like
I showed you.
You could have like a whole business like just run by AI, but you know, seeing real people is really important. And ultimately, I think, you know, look, we've had it before where, you know, people want to see us live all the time, the band perform live, because obviously you want to see what that atmosphere is going to be like. And the best footage you will get is at a wedding where they can see exactly what happens. But I will say, I think that in order to prevent your wedding becoming a film shoot, which, you know, I think it's a liberty if they've just shown up, because I think communication is really important. Permission.
Always.
You are at someone's wedding, and respect is really important. It's a wedding. It's not a show. It's a wedding. And I think, you know, people have wedding fairs and things like that to show what they do.
Yeah.
And I do think communication in this situation is really important. I think asking permission.
But how far do we go with permission? Because we're asking the bride and groom, but we're not asking the people that are there.
Yeah.
What if people are, you know, my son and daughter-in-law are very careful not to put their children on social media. If you've got children at the wedding, true. And you're putting content out that include those children on social media, we know about face mapping now.
Yeah.
You know, and how dangerous it is. Yeah. You know, and so, you know, they're not getting permission from everybody, surely.
I totally agree. I honestly think that setting parameters with the vendors is really important, and I think that again, in the planning process, just sort of having that conversation, like I think you will know the number of vendors, like you said, because you will have to feed people. So perhaps you will have numbers from them. Oh, there's only 3 people coming. Okay, what jobs are they doing?
Yeah. You know? Yes. Okay. Yes. Asking what jobs they're doing.
What jobs are they doing? Okay, great, fantastic. That's fine. And be clear. Just communicate. Say, I don't want my wedding out there as an advert.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So you should be having these conversations with your suppliers at the time of booking them. So if you're giving them the business and this is your criteria, make it part of the deal. Not afterwards, not after you've booked them and paid your deposit. You can't then be going back and going, oh no, I don't want you to do this. Oh, I don't 100%. Want you to do it, because they can say no.
And also, like, say if you book a band, it doesn't have to be Boujee music, but if you booked a band.
Do you have a content creator?
We do, but we
don't.
You
are it.
No, I am it. No, but we don't have, we haven't done it where we've had people turn up to a wedding.
Yeah.
Say for instance, I will say that, like, if you book a band and they bring a content creator along, it could be that they start performing for the camera and not for your wedding.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Start to make it look good for the camera, like doing it all
and not doing it to the crowd.
Distracted and not doing it to your crowd. Perhaps that's a distraction for them. But there is also,
because as a bride,
tell me,
I've paid you to come to my wedding, to perform at my wedding.
Yeah.
But you're using my wedding as your performing stage to advertise your business.
But I see both sides of it as well.
I do
but
too.
Like, I also
Annoyingly,
think,
I do.
But perhaps, well, I don't know about this, but maybe ask for a discount if that's going to happen. Like, do you know what I mean? Or something where you, or set parameters, communicate.
Listen, if you were to book out this studio, you'd have to pay the studio,
surely.
Surely.
It's true, but you know, people can be cheeky.
Yeah. On the flip side, because I always like to see the other side.
Very good.
That if ask them if they're bringing content creators with them, because then you don't need one.
This is
so
true.
Just say you can bring a content creator for your business. However, I want all the reels.
That's valid. That's a very good idea.
And you could use then all of everybody's reels and bring together your own movie.
There you go. Because that's a new thing.
It is a new thing
to have your own content, because people want the turnover quicker, don't they? They want to have their wedding day and then they want to have all their reels because they want to see what it looked like.
I was in the middle of candle making. I was pouring wax.
The rock and roll lifestyle you
listen. You do what you do to survive. And that cake, I literally had that on, and I was literally pouring the wax, and it was everywhere. It was on the table, but I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah. People love just. I think because of social media becoming so important as well. And there's always that thing at the beginning of weddings as well, isn't it? Please don't film. Like, we've got someone filming.
Yeah, we're telling our guests not to film. Yeah. But then we're contradicting ourselves.
I was a maid of honour a couple of weeks ago to my best friend. And I was a bridesmaid as well. So obviously I'm dressed in my bridesmaid dress. And as we arrive, I messaged my husband, please can you film us walking up the aisle, because I know that the next day my best friend is going to say, have you got any videos of me walking up the aisle, because of the turnover of pictures and videos. And apparently my husband, when I went and sat next to him, he said I couldn't film because the videographer and the photographer said nobody's allowed their phones out to film anything. And I was like, oh well, fair enough if that's what she wanted. But then she messaged me the next day and said, have you got any footage of me walking up the aisle? I was like,
yeah, I tell you what, weddings are very. You find yourself going, I don't want this, but actually I want it.
Yeah.
At the same time, so that's why the content creators are there.
Yeah, it's good to have someone capture all that as well, because you don't want your family and friends distracted or to watch everything through a screen.
Yeah, and the worst photos that you'll have coming back is everybody, your special moment, and everybody's got their phones out, and it's ruining it.
You want everyone to be present and to feel that special energy of a wedding, know. It's just really special, and to be present for that's really great.
Ready to dive into my box?
I can't wait to dive into your box.
Right, so these questions, these are from the public. These are questions that come in from everybody, and either on our social medias or into our boutique, and they're a mix of everything.
Oh my gosh!
You don't know what you're going to get.
What are we going
to get? A question that came in last night.
Oh.
Was my brother and his girlfriend have split up.
Okay.
She has taken his suit and burnt it, apparently.
Oh.
And they can't get another one. And they bought them in the sale and everything.
Oh.
So she's going to have to change all the suits unless she can find something on Vinted or eBay or something to match.
Do you know what? Vinted could work for that.
Yeah. So if you've got serial code inside the jacket of the others, then scan that. It said you never know. It was Matalan. Matalan's probably got spares or something. Yeah, you never know. But I think that's quite a top tip, is don't let your wedding party have their attire until the wedding day.
Yeah.
The day before.
I mean, quite often you find that people stay together the night before, don't they? So maybe they get ready together in the morning. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
definitely. It is nerve-wracking when you spend a lot of money as well.
We've had bridesmaids wear their dresses before the wedding.
No way.
Yeah.
I would have, do you know what? My friend would have gone absolutely
don't mess with a redhead.
Crazy. Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so my top tip is to hold everything. You have it. Don't give it to them.
It's all part of your wedding. It's all part of your special day. Protect it like you would protect, the rings.
Yeah, exactly. Right, go on then.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here I go. As I delve into the bucket of joy. What have we got here? Okay. My mother-in-law wants to come dress shopping with me. However, my mum does not like her. I adore them both, so stuck in the middle, even though my mum would never ask me to choose. Help! Oh. See, there's going to be a lot of pride involved in this, and the mother is going to be like, you're my daughter. I would rather not have her with us. Which is a hard place to be, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I do know what I've seen this, and sometimes the mother-in-laws are more mums than the actual mum, and we've had people bring mums that are not mums that have been mums to them through their lives. So, and I get it. I've had the same situation myself where I've had many step-in mums through my life, and but you're in contact with your mum by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
So I do think you just need to go with the tradition and take your mum, just the two of you.
Well, I have to say the fact that she's writing this question means that she cares about her mum's feelings.
Yes.
So she obviously has she wants to find out how
she cares about both their feelings.
She does. She adores them both. But I think agree. Make 2 days of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make 2 days of it. I did the same with I did my dress shopping with my friends, and then I did my dress shopping with my mum and my sister.
Yeah, you don't have to buy your dress on the first appointment. If you do, that's fine. And then you just bring her back to do accessories.
Yeah.
So bring your mother-in-law to do accessories.
And like any part of a wedding, like ride it out. Do things more than once. You're only going to get married once. Do these things again and again if you can. Yeah. Enjoy it. Go for champagne. Live the life.
Or what I would do, and I've had this happen before, is the bride comes on her own.
Oh, really?
And I'm seeing more brides coming on their own now.
Yeah.
In 24 years, more than ever.
Really?
And they're like, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with all these opinions. Even suggesting what shops they go to is being too much. What designs, I see you in this. They already can see it's going to be too much. So they come and do the recce on their own. Yeah. And sometimes buy the dress there and then. Yeah. And then do the reveal, not just for the, it's extended out from bridesmaids now to the mums, to the dads and stuff like that. So it is a complete reveal.
Yeah, well, my friend didn't show me. She obviously got married last week, but she didn't tell me about her wedding dress or show me it before the wedding day.
How was that?
I was put out a bit, to be honest. I was put out, if I'm being honest.
Because you're like me, you're a bit nosy,
because
aren't you?
I am nosy. She probably felt like I was going to forward the picture on to people, but I wasn't. Yeah. I think... And
this does happen. We've had it.
It does, and people get very protective as well. They don't want people... And of course you don't want people to see your wedding dress before the wedding day. I think... Because we'd been dress shopping together.
Right.
And then she went again with her stepmum.
Yeah.
And that's when she picked it. And I went, oh my gosh, she went shopping. She sent me a picture of the dress. And she was like, I'm just going to leave it to the day. And I was just like, what?
Yeah.
But you know what? Actually, it was really special.
Yeah.
And we had a nice moment
and
that
these
morning.
Are your feelings.
But it's her day.
It's her day, and I think you have to do you. And this week I've had 2 grooms come in with their brides, and I have to say this is going back to when we were in COVID, when the bubble was your fiance, and only the 2 of them came, and they're the nicest appointments. There's no confusion. They're excited. They're hugging. I just love it.
Really
so I would bring the whole, because they're not going to see you all made up.
It's true.
They're not going to see you on the day. You are going to look completely different. Or if you don't want to choose your dress with your fiance, then I would then narrow it down to 3 favourites. And then come back and choose which one. So then they still don't know which one you chose. Yeah,
and it's quite nice to think that they had an input in it a little bit.
Yes, definitely.
Because there's some dresses that my husband will say, "Oh, you look beautiful in that dress. It suits your figure perfectly." Yeah. And ultimately, when I was wearing my wedding dress going up the aisle, he was the one person I wanted to impress.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Do you, boo?
Right. Okay. How does Mother of the Bride cope? Tequila.
How does Mother of the Bride cope? Okay. Deep breath and remind yourself it's not your day.
Yes.
Which is a hard one.
Step back.
It's a hard one because I think if we're talking about coping, if we're talking about emotions and wanting to just...
I know who this is. She was in my shop when she wrote that, and she was getting too emotional and too protective as well, because she knows her inside and out. So she was picking up on every movement, every facial expression, and she said, I'm not coping because I protected her all my life, and now she's making these decisions on her own, and I'm not liking it.
So it's going to be a control thing.
It is a control thing, and I think. In a nice way, but...
I think ultimately, there's so many emotions wrapped up in weddings. And I think for the mother of the bride, you are seeing your daughter grow into this woman, and it symbolises so much.
I think mums suddenly see their baby as a woman as when they're standing in a dress.
Yeah.
And I think it is very overwhelming.
And if you can't like handle your vulnerability or your emotion, I think sometimes you get nervous that you're going to be really emotional on the day, and it's going to become this huge thing. But I think taking deep breaths and remembering that as long as there's a smile on your daughter's face throughout that day, that is all that matters, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And don't worry if you're going to cry, and I think the girls want the mum. So I actually had a girl come back for a retry because her mum didn't cry. And then she did cry when she was in the dress.
She wanted those tears.
But that moment is gone, because she forced it. She made that happen. And it was just like, she went, still not the same, is it? And I went, no, because if she's not naturally a crier, why would she cry?
I think when I did my dress reveal with my dad, I was like, as I was walking down the stairs, I was like looking to see if he was crying. I was like, you crying?
Right, let's go in. Oh God, I've got two here. Right, go on, you go. Okay. What am I responsible for on the wedding day? What if something goes wrong? Am I supposed to fix it? Bricking it, John. Oh, this is a groom. Okay, so the groom. What am I responsible for on the wedding day? What if something goes wrong, and am I supposed to fix it? Right. Delegation, always. So find the strength of your groomsman. It doesn't have to be a groomsman. It can be father of bride. It could be your dad.
It could be a special friend that you haven't given a role to.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody who's missed out on being, that's had their nose put out joint maybe, and just say, right, this is what I need you to do. You want bodyguards, basically.
And be like, I trust you to do this because your strengths are. Yeah. Say if it's an MC, to announce the flow of the day, you want to say to someone, I know that you're very, good at chatting to big groups of people, and you're very confident. So this role for you would be perfect. Yeah, definitely. And put somebody on toilet duty as well. Oh. Because so many people don't know where the toilet's on. Where they're wandering around like, lunatics. Toilet. Or just stick a sign around someone's neck and an arrow.
Follow me.
Follow me.
Or a bit of toilet paper. But I think delegation is really important. Watch this programme always, because we'll come up with tips and ideas and stuff like that. But, things do go wrong.
They do.
Be prepared that things will go wrong. That's bride and groom and bride and bride. Yeah. And then it won't be such a shock, and you'll deal with it much better.
It's a bit like a labour plan. Like they always say to you, the midwives will always say
I'm thinking politicians then for some reason. Why are you bringing
that
politics
as well,
into this?
A labour plan, not getting into politics here, but when you put together a birth plan, it doesn't always go to plan, and that's okay. Yeah. It's still
somebody who's quick-witted, quick-footed.
Yeah, that's good.
That can think on their feet and not panic.
Also, if you have a wedding planner, speak to your wedding planner, get a list of the roles that might be required on the day that people could do, and then delegate.
And make sure you go to your venue a couple of times before your wedding, so you know the layout, so you know it really well.
Definitely.
So...
Recently engaged, second time round. I want to wear a real wedding dress as I missed out, but I'm 50. It's only a small wedding. It's about 40 to 60 people, and I'm worried what people will think, and that I will look like a mutton dressed as lamb. And I don't normally go posh. Show is really helping me. Thank you so much, Fran. Do you know what? That makes me feel for her, because bless her. Like, Fran, wear what you want to wear.
Yeah, again, I say I've been doing it 24 years. I've seen everybody, and my oldest bride today is 79. And there is no age for love, and you wear what you want. I've got dresses in my shop that will, that a 20-year-old will put on, and I've got a 60-year-old that will put it on also and rock it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dresses are personality; they're not age limited. And I think people are getting married older in life as well. I've got lots of people getting married at the moment that have been with their partners, sort of 20, 30, 40 years and not got married and thought, what, kids have gone, let's do it now.
100%.
So.
And ultimately, Fran, if you've got a room full of people who are going to be judging what you're wearing, you need to be questioning who your friends and family are.
You're paying for them to be there, remember? So,
but also, these are people who
supposed to love
technically are the most important people in your life on the most special day of your life, and they will not be judging you if they love you, and if they don't love you, then think about why you're inviting them.
100%. Yeah, definitely. Right,
I've got one with tiny writing.
Can I not go?
You go.
You've had one.
Sorry.
I tell you, they come on the sofa and they just take over.
I'm sorry. You go.
I do not have the best relationship with fiance's sister. I have told him I do not intend for her to be a bridesmaid. He agrees it is my decision and has no issue with it. However, his brother-in-law, her husband, said I should have her regardless. What do I do?
That's good of him.
No, you're going to get loads of opinions being, and there's no right or wrong, but it's what you want. If you don't want her, then don't have her. And are they married? I don't know whether they're married.
Did they use the words brother-in-law or something like that then? I don't know.
Fiancé sister.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a fiancé sister. No.
I think you have to be just confident in what you want for your day.
Fast forward 10 years. 10th wedding anniversary tomorrow.
Happy wedding anniversary for tomorrow.
Well, make it.
One day. Fingers crossed.
Fast forward 10 years and look at your photo and go, right, those are all the people that I wanted there.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. And I think that would make your decision easier. If she wants to be bridesmaid, that's fine. You've already got your bridesmaid sorted, so she is an add-on. But if she really wants to be bridesmaid, that's not a problem. Here's where I got the dress. This is how much it is. Get her to pay for it. And I bet you she won't do it.
I think I agree with that. And then I will also suggest on the flip side, there is a lot of power to take from not letting it get to you. If it's easy for you to do that and just and you're not going to think about it on the day, and it is just fine to just say, okay, do that. Just make your life easy. Your concentration should be on you and your husband.
Yeah, there is going to be lots of compromises you're going to have to make.
Compromise.
Yeah, and I would say yes. I'm a yes girl.
Are you? Yeah. I'm a bit of a yes. I look back at my wedding and there's so many things that I said yes to that I think, but I was a lot younger. I knew myself a lot less.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wanted to keep the peace.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah. And how, is it a biggie?
Sometimes it's not that big.
Yeah.
It's fine. Tiny writing.
Glad you got that one, not me.
My best friends, in brackets, 2 of them, are turning into right bitches. Sorry. They've ruined
Don't be sorry.
It's fine. That's them, not you. Ruined my dress appointments with catty remarks. I really don't want them to be a part of my wedding now. Can I de-invite them? How do I do it? And that's from Sarah. I mean, some people get so selfish in these situations.
We did this on, we saw this message come in, we did it on ChatGPT. Honestly, do it. It's hilarious. So you can, set the tone and everything.
Yeah.
But you can de-invite.
Is de-invite a word?
It is today.
It is today.
On my podcast, it is. You can sack people.
Yeah. I think.
But how bitchy are they? Are you being too sensitive?
Yeah.
Or is everything getting to you and it's just getting too much? But. If they've ruined your dress appointment,
I think
it's leading to a path that everything's going to be.
I would be interested to know: are they catty to each other? Are they making catty remarks to you? Where is the energy going? Is it because, causing the least amount of friction? I would advise is probably the best way to go. And if the friction's going to be intense at the dress appointments and all the other parts leading up to the wedding, then dead in the water. Or is it that causing de-inviting them because you're probably still going to want them at your wedding? Are you going to just cause more friction and awkwardness on your day?
Yeah. How many bridesmaids have you got? Are they the only bridesmaids? If they're the only bridesmaids, you could turn around and go, do you know what? I've decided not to have bridesmaids.
There's that.
But going back to the groom, here are jobs that I need you to do for me.
That's true.
That's what I would do.
And just ultimately, the day has to be right for you, and you just have to trust your instincts.
The lead-up's really important, right?
Lead-up's so important. Yeah. Like I said about the dress appointments, making the most of all of this planning phase, is so important. And again, ease the pressure off yourself though, because the more you actually think that things are so important, you're going to be like, this has to be perfect. Everyone has to get on. Sometimes that's not life. Yeah. Not everyone gets on all the time.
No.
There might be friction.
Life isn't perfect.
Life isn't perfect.
No, and that's why you have many different friends and different types of friends, because when they get too much, you spend more time with that person.
You can leave that group and go over to the other.
I was a bridesmaid, and I was a bridesmaid, and the car got lost. It crashed into the entrance of the venue, and what? Hang on a moment. I was a bridesmaid, and the car got lost. It crashed into the entrance of the venue. He shouted at the bride and the bridesmaids to get out as we were 30 minutes late to the wedding. So this
wedding crashes.
Yeah. So basically, they were in a car. Wow. It got lost. It then crashed into the wedding entrance. Yeah, the entrance of the venue, and the driver shouted at the bride and bridesmaid to get out as they were 30 minutes late.
I think he would have been in shock that situation, because that's quite an intense thing to happen.
It would happen at one of my weddings. That.
I mean, I would have quite happily got out.
I hope you didn't pay for him.
Yeah, I was going to say, wow, that is one way to arrive.
Wedding crashes.
The bridal party are there to serve, in capital letters, the bride. When choosing bridesmaid, think about who you want there on the morning of your wedding and the environment and energy you want. I am so here for this.
Yeah.
This is the
answer to the other question that you had.
Do you know, on my wedding morning, to be honest, my friend took the mick out of me for so many years until she just did it 2 weeks ago. I had my own room and I was up there getting ready on my own, and I played 07 and I played really soft, soothing music. I lit some candles, and it was the most calming way to start the wedding day. Yeah. And everyone downstairs could do what they wanted.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I remember everybody around me, and it was getting bedlam, and I just wanted quiet.
You just want peace.
Yeah.
You want to be present as well. You want to really soak it all in, because like it's that day that every minute, every second that you've thought about in the lead up, and you just want to be present and enjoy it.
Yeah, sometimes, the disco vibe is not for everybody.
It wasn't for me that morning, no. So yeah, it's not for everyone. So but sometimes it is. Sometimes you want to play some music with your girlfriends.
It's what the bride wants.
Set the tone.
It's not about what you want.
100%.
How involved should I be in planning? Oh, this is from a groom. Okay. How involved should I be in the planning, and when should I start? Sam, 2028 groom.
Oh,
I'm loving that the grooms want to get involved.
That's great. Like, look, we're in 2025.
Yeah,
grooms can. It's your wedding. It's the
equal.
It's the equal. It's the partnership of people.
Yeah.
So
I'm finding that grooms do not want to get involved until the bride asks them to get involved.
Are you finding that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
they really do want to.
Yeah.
But they're too frightened to ask, because the bride and the crew are running away with it.
Yeah.
So
I think ultimately a bit like the Sex and the City movie, when the wedding started to get too big for big.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, and he didn't feel involved in it anymore.
Yeah.
I think if
they're not connected with it then.
Exactly.
They're not. Like a passerby that's just turning up.
The day is a surprise to them. They're like, oh look, an aisle, with flowers. Look, if they want to be involved, amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Sit down with your partner and say, right, should we do a spreadsheet? Boys love a spreadsheet. Oh
my gosh, Tim's sentence. It's a spreadsheet. They do. Men just love spreadsheets, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. But be sensitive on dress budget and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She may not have a clue, so help her research, prices and stuff like that. So.
But also, like, they might have an idea. So, for instance, my friend who just got married, they had a football, that when the football team, his favourite football team comes out, there's a certain song that's played. And they had that play as they walked into their wedding breakfast, and they had that as I announced them, because I've got the big mouth. And it was amazing, and it felt very special because they'd worked on it together.
Right.
And that's something she wouldn't have known to plan herself. There might be nice little touches that.
Yeah, definitely. It is about both of you, not just one person. But I get it. The brides do run away with it, and the boys are so scared because they're like, well, you're a girl. You wanted your whole life, and but I'm loving that they're wanting to get involved.
It's amazing, so good. Right, how do you tell the bride she is a bridezilla? How do you tell a bride they're a bridezilla?
Carefully.
Do you know what? This is one where I would probably just let the bride be a bridezilla a little bit if it was my friend.
So for me, what I would do is find when they become bridezilla, it's because of a few things. They're overloaded. So try and take some jobs off her. Okay.
That's true.
She's nervous as hell. So take her for a spa day. You know, get her to chill.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah, and some, you know, do a surprise afternoon tea like a hen do, but so it's not the big going out and raving, and or do a one-on-one and go, right, what are you worried about and everything. So you're not talking at her, you're problem solving.
Yeah.
You know, because if you're going to go straight at her, you are literally putting oil onto fire.
You are. That's so true. You are. And ultimately, like, I think every bride or groom has an element of zilliness in them.
They always say the quiet ones are the worst, and we see it. We see them come through from you know even at the appointment trying dresses on. You can see that they're not enjoying it because they've brought the wrong people. They've brought people with them they shouldn't have done. You know, our last couple of months, I think, because we're coming into holiday season, people are coming with just one person or two people, and the appointments, we've had the same amount of appointments, but we're not frazzled. It's gone calmly. Nearly everybody bought, and the brides have really enjoyed it. We've got no phone calls on a Monday to go, I think I chose the wrong one. You know, when they always come back and put it on and go, it's the right one, but they've made it with clear conscience, you know. But you know what it's like when anybody says to you, calm down.
I know. That is
you go further up.
That is the worst thing to say to anybody when they're mad. I think also, like you said, picking up on the fact that the Bridezilla energy is only going to come from the pressure. It's only going to feel like they're in a pressure cooker and they're you know, ready to snap.
Really scary, this wedding planning, because if you've never done it in your life, you know, even third time round, you know, I had the pressure.
You're hosting a party. You've got everyone like
with critique,
and also there's so much on the internet and there's so much on Instagram, and you see these perfect weddings and you want to replicate
and they're not.
It's just not. It's all just not real all the time. You know, you see so many things that have been manufactured, and it's really important to just make sure that
we talked about AI.
Yeah.
And that's getting worse now, because I did a bit of like snooping on some of these recent big celebrity weddings, and actually when you look at the real photos as opposed to the ones in the magazines, they're not the same.
No, I'm sure that the Jeff Bezos wedding wasn't actually that.
No. And why was she wearing shoestring straps underneath her dress when she didn't need to, by the way? Sorry, I'm still not over it. She didn't need them.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly. Doesn't matter how much money you've got to spend, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have the best wedding.
No, it
Sometimes
doesn't.
Smaller is more perfect.
I ultimately think that, you know, if it's signature to you and your likes and your loves, and it's a reflection of your love, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. Right, here we go. Groom and bride's father get into a fight. Post-ceremony, police and ambulance arrive. They are both arrested. Wedding is cancelled by the venue. It was carnage. That's coming off social media.
That is a story.
You can plan this wedding for 18 months.
You can't plan that, can you?
You can't plan people.
You can't plan people.
And you can't organise people,
no.
You know, and it's, you know, and yeah.
Wow.
You know, we had Paul, who was So Sinatra, and he did a venue and he was singing, and it was like the bride's father or groom's father came up to him and went, just so you know, there's going to be a fight. So if you could just finish what you're singing and then just move to the side. And they were busy moving the chairs and tables around, like an organised fight.
Real fight? A
real proper fight. And then they were like, right, okay, let's do it. And it was right something out of Peaky Blinders.
No way.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my goodness.
And then it was like, and he said to Paul, go and get yourself a pint of Guinness from the bar. And so he could hear it all going off, and then came back in, and it was like, right, sorted now. And then he went back on and played.
I mean, that's that's novel. It's a story to tell. Definitely for a vendor, that's almost like, you know, you kind of you hear these stories and you hear from different vendors, and you're like, how have you experienced that? That's incredible.
I think for a vendor, it's like, what the fuck? Okay, show must go on.
Look, if this is what you want.
Yeah, exactly. So no matter how long, you know, how much you plan your wedding, you can't foresee these things.
Well,
you know.
You wouldn't be able to foresee that.
Somebody is waving at me. Do we need to bring the wheel on?
The wheel.
So we're going to pause. I'm joking.
I was like, I did my best pause. I was like,
no, pause, like, as in like,
pause. Oh my goodness me. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Oh, the rainbow of joy.
We'll do a couple of these.
Yeah.
Right. Time when we're ready.
Go for it.
Right, so I've got one. Top tip, girls. Choose wisely your bride tribe. 1 month before my wedding, my matron of honour and my friend ruined my hen do. We have all fallen out and it is so bad. I'm now having to change everything, like seating plans, newspapers with their names on. The list is endless. Don't have anything printed with anybody's names on, as it's costly to change. Went to my first dress fitting on my own this week. Makes me feel so empty and so sad about my wedding. Hayley, kiss. That's terrible, isn't it? It's like, you know, a lot about bridesmaids and that.
We're talking about a lot about people and relationships.
Just because you're friends with them doesn't mean that they need to be bridesmaids. And do you know what? I think this, when you get engaged and this choosing your bridesmaid straight away, I think is done. I think what you should be doing is start planning your wedding and then seeing who is stepping up.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, because people come out of their shells when there's a wedding, either good or bad. And I think 6 months before your wedding, if you've got time, or 3 months, then you give them the responsibility of the bridesmaid. Definitely. I don't think do it at the beginning.
No,
it's exciting, and you feel that you have to have like but you have like your fiance, you have hopefully your parents, or you know, people stepping in as parents. Yeah. That's all you need. Don't do it slowly.
Yeah. Stagger it. Yeah, like you could have an engagement party. Just enjoy the moment for then. It depends if you've got a quick turnaround, I guess, as well, if you're getting married in 6 months and you want to get people in their places. But, you know, as soon as I hear one of my friends is engaged, I'm like, okay, now I've got to be, what can I get you? How do I get a bridesmaid?
It's when you first get engaged, and I've said this to brides over the years, when you first get engaged, people come out of the woodwork that you have not seen for years. Your DMs are going off.
That's true.
And I call it seal the invite.
Oh.
Because they want to go to a wedding. Because we don't go out.
That's so true.
You know, we don't go out. So it's like, you know, we go to like occasionally dinner and stuff like that, but we don't go out, do we? You know, so it's like, right, I want to go.
Yeah, you're so right.
And these weddings are getting more and more elaborate and people want to be part of it. It's FOMO.
That's true. And also, like, especially when you've got young children, if you want to secure a babysitter as well. Because if you say to a babysitter, it's a wedding, like I'm going to a wedding, please can you look after
particularly if you've got in a friendship group and you all live locally and you're all sharing the same babysitter, you want to get in first, don't you?
You do.
We do it with our dog sitter.
Oh really?
Yeah,
you've got one dog sitter between the group
in our road, and every, like, you know, so when I did the marathon,
it's dog eat dog, is it?
It's dog eat dog. I knew that Chantal was going to get in, but I knew that she was in before she knew that she was in. I quickly
oh my gosh, very, very clever, Sharon. Very clever.
Think on your feet. You do not need to have bridesmaids, by the way.
You don't.
I'm finding that people are having less bridesmaids.
And it's cheaper.
It's definitely cheaper.
And you're not upsetting people by giving people roles, and like we talked, I think that's been a key thing for us, actually, talking about the different roles people can have. Yeah. They don't have to have an official role as a bridesmaid.
No, jobs. They can have jobs.
They can have jobs.
Yeah. And it is expensive. Whether you're paying for the dress or not, you're probably paying for the fittings, the makeup, the hair. Yeah. You know, even if they're saying that they'll do all of those things, you'll want to get them a gift.
You will, yeah.
You know,
there is
so
that.
You know, so and they would expect something in the value of what they've spent out as well, normally.
And to be honest, from a bridesmaid perspective, it is quite expensive to be a bridesmaid. Yeah. You know, you hen do's and you know,
you almost don't want to be asked to be a bridesmaid a little bit.
Sometimes you're a bit like, are you sure?
Yeah, exactly.
But the night before, you're staying in a hotel because you want to be around with the bride. There's all those costings that you don't think about.
And it's expected, if you're a bridesmaid, you're expected to do that as well. You know, so
right. So I need some help and ideas, ladies. Well, the right people. Looking to get married next year. I'm struggling to figure out who will walk me down the aisle. My father died when I was young. My mum died 3 years ago, and a sort of adopted dad died a year ago. Oh, bless her. So I don't feel I have anyone to walk me down the aisle. Bex. Oh, firstly, sorry, Bex. That's really sad for you. I'm so sorry. And it's really hard with these days come around because you want those people especially to be around you.
I've grown up with no parents. Parents were around at the time, but not in my life. I'm lucky to have the most amazing son, who walked me up the aisle twice. He's not doing it again, he says.
That's one way to stop you from doing
That's it. So I was really lucky to have him. But if I didn't have him, it is a bit daunting going up on your own. However, I would say that, especially if there's conflict in the family with duo parenting as well, that's putting pressure on you, I would arrange to walk up half the aisle and get your partner to meet you in the middle, so you're not walking down on your own. That's so you brilliant. Both at the same time walk together. He collects you or she collects you, and then you walk both up together. That will have everybody in tears.
Yeah, that just sent chills for me there.
But I just think it's romantic.
It is.
And we are forgetting what this wedding is about. It's not about the bridesmaids, the mums, the dads, the uncles, the gate crashers. It's about two people getting married and uniting. The other people are spectators. Yeah. So I would do it on your own. Or I think together.
And I think, if you've had people who have passed away and they're not there to walk you up the aisle, I think a really nice idea to incorporate having them be there in a special way is to have something of theirs maybe on you. Maybe
we do heart pockets in our wedding dresses. Yes. So put it in heart side inside the bus cup.
I love that.
So they could put like a piece of material or some rings or a memento in it, so they're on your heart.
Or a locket or something that's and or maybe a pocket watch that your granddad used to wear, and something like that. I think there are ways to look. Ultimately, they are with you. You are part of them forever. And you walking up that aisle, that they would be there in spirit. And I think that just incorporating them in some special way would be really important. Really important.
Yeah, you'll look back at that and go, I wish I'd done it. Another top tip from me is if you're having bridesmaids or people walking up the aisle before you, get them to carry a single flower and have a chair on the top of the aisle, and then they can just slightly put it there. I'm not a fan of these memento tables with their pictures on. It's a bit like a shrine, and it can bring not the mood down, but it's a constant reminder that somebody's not there. I think you do definitely need to acknowledge it, but I don't think it needs to be in your face.
Yeah. I think sometimes with the photo tables, which I had at my wedding, and
Sorry.
I've seen it. No, it's fine.
Made him laugh.
Yeah, thanks, Sharon. No.
See ya.
I had it at my wedding, but I also, what I didn't take into account when I had it at my wedding was actually how it would affect other people, because obviously family members had lost that person too.
Yes.
And I went over to that table with my dad, and he saw a picture of his Auntie Marie, who was close, and he broke down. And I think that was a really emotional thing for him. And I think he would have he wasn't really prepared for it, and I think seeing the photo of that person
You're forcing that person.
It's almost like
emotions.
So I also think be mindful of that. Obviously, it's healthy to show emotion, and you miss those people, but there are other ways. There are so many brilliant, like the heart pocket. Like there are ways to.
I'm not a fan of the locket round the bouquets, because I think that bouquet gets lost, and then you might lose that locket.
Yeah,
so
I mean the amount of bouquets that just get. Put on the side. Yeah, I agree. You want to keep those things safe.
Right, I'll just do another one, then we'll do that wheel. The wheel. Right, I've applied to go on the wheel, by the way.
Oh.
FYI.
Oh, good fun.
Michael, if you're watching.
He is.
Actually, I don't know why, because I don't like dodgems and those teacups, so I'll be...
I would love to see you fly around the wheel.
I'm all good. I once had to be carried off and put on the it was first date as well. Somebody, I can't remember who it was.
I'm just imagining you like...
They had to take me off and put me on the floor and lie down, because I had a
That's
funny
so funny.
My 9-year-old sister is now... Oh, God. My 9-year-old sister is now living with us. A very long story. It was either this or put her into the foster system. Sorry, I've been fostered. my husband-to-be does not want children and is not happy. It's causing so many arguments. I'm having to choose between them. So lost, and I don't know what to do. And none.
This is a really big.
Yeah, I've been fostered
in
my life, and you know, I had somebody stepped up in the family and taken my brother and I back.
Wow.
It would have meant the world.
Yeah.
And she's 9 years old. She's not even able to fend for herself or speak up for herself.
I think ultimately, whatever home this 9-year-old goes into she needs to not feel like she's not wanted.
He needs to grow up. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And you know, and there isn't a choice here. This is blood.
It's a real life situation. But there needs to be a real conversation that if she was to come into the home, that she's not made to feel not wanted, and she is made to feel safe and secure in that home, and she's not around the friction.
It sounds like she's already been through enough as well. If it's a long story, you know, and these things, you know, things in life get you know, marriage is not one happy bed of roses. You know, you're going to have your highs and your lows, and sometimes the lows are so low that you never think you're going to get out of them, but you do. You know, if this is how he's coping with this little dip, how is he going to cope with other things?
This is true. I mean,
call the wedding off.
Cancel
everything. I
think ultimately, when you make your vows on your wedding day, you talk about being with each other through thick and thin. You know, I don't think thick and thin is mentioned in the vows, but to have and to hold, you know, through richer, through poorer, you know, you make that commitment, and life is really tough. It's not a bed of roses, like you said. You're going to go through ups and downs, and if you feel like you haven't got a partner on that journey who's really going to...
It is a partnership.
Yeah,
you know,
it's so important.
But I get it. It is a joint decision. It is a joint decision. But this is a non-negotiable.
You've got to really put that 9-year-old comes first. That 9-year-old comes first in this situation.
I think you ask any...
And he needs to stop acting like a 9-year-old.
Yeah. What she said.
Mic drop.
Spin the wheel.
Here we go.
You're so gentle with the wheel.
I get scared. I'm going to throw it off.
Date story.
Come
on, Lizzie. Give us a lace. With Tim or anybody else.
Date story. Oh my gosh. Okay. What? So with my husband?
No, it doesn't have to be husband.
Oh my gosh, I've got a terrible date story.
Excellent. Then we're all here for it.
Before I met my husband, which every date has been amazing, joking, you know.
Apart from when he doesn't put the bins out. Tim, you and I are going to have words later.
Well, there is that. So I met this, so I'm from a little town, and I'd met this guy in a bar, and he was a little bit older than me, not like crazy older than me, just like a little bit older than me. He was Hugh Hefner, and he said, "Do you want to come back to the Playboy Mansion?" No. And then we went out for a date. We went to Zzz's on a date in our local town, and the night I'd met him, he was out with his friend, and like we were like eating our food, and then his friend just shows up and just like pulls up a chair.
Was it Joey?
And I was just like, what, like, what's going on? And I was, you know, I was kind of just, was
it planned?
No, I didn't know he was coming.
Okay. No, but did the man know he was coming?
Yes. Yes. And
you were being groomed.
I don't know what was going on, but because I'm such a people pleaser, I was just kind of sat there like, okay. And he was like, I'm going to get some food. And I was like sat there on this date with this guy, and this other guy was like, I'm going to get some food. And then we went to the local pub, and luckily we went to a local pub where all my girlfriends are. And I was like, get me out of this situation. Because the guy came up to the pub afterwards as well. I was like, this is a very unusual situation. I've like, anyway.
I'm a deployed parachute girl. I would have climbed out the window, and I have climbed out a window on dates.
Well, I'm wondering now with hindsight, did he go to the toilet and go, come, because this date is horrible?
I was going to say, yeah.
Maybe he thought I was awful.
Yeah.
I'm willing to admit, maybe I was just terrible.
Maybe he thought that you were going to eat him up.
Yeah, maybe he was like, she is so boring and not very funny.
I don't doubt you're boring. I reckon he was boring.
Well, I don't know.
She's too much for me.
Maybe. She doesn't shut up. Will you come here?
Yeah, maybe it was an SOS. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it was like, just send me a message.
My sister's dating, and we've got this You know, like, please send me a yes
Oh,
or
love
a
it.
Y, please.
Yes,
you know, if
good.
it's under the table, just one letter. You know.
Well, having had that used against me, it's very, very. It works. It works, guys. It works. 'Cause I disappeared. I was trying to get away from him. Maybe he was trying to get away from me.
You heard that you put the bins out.
Yeah.
Right. I was on the wheel for ages.
That was a good spin.
It was a very good spin. Switch it. Okay, so switching it is, what would you do if you didn't do what you're doing now? Oh, this goes two ways, actually. I'll do two questions with you.
Okay.
So what would you do?
What, as in, what would I do? Sing?
No point in asking me that, because I'm an author, candle maker.
You do everything. When you do everything, you don't have to answer that.
I'm doing it already, yeah. I'd be a private detective is what I would do.
Would you?
Yeah.
You'd be great at that.
I know.
I love that. It's quite exciting, really. What would I do? I think I would be a primary school teacher. As you saw from the last pod,
take my book in.
I would take your new book, your children's book in.
Sing it to them.
I would sing it to them. I really love looking after young children. I love being the centre of attention at the front of a classroom, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like I'm lucky enough to do what my passion is, and I love it, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But if I was to do a job, it would be a primary school teacher. Okay. Tim and I have been into my children's class and played music for them all. And we're just doing it now before it's like, Mom, Dad, that's so uncool. Like, we're doing it now. We're like performing for them. But yeah.
And switch it goes the other way is, you ask me a question.
Oh, okay. Like, you are doing everything. What any question in the world?
Any question in the world.
What part of weddings would you work in if it wasn't dresses?
Very easy question, this. It will be get in and get out as quick as I can at wedding shows. So, because when I did wedding shows, luckily, because I've got the show now, I don't need to do them. But when I was doing wedding exhibitions, I was always the first in, maybe the night before, and always the last out.
So intense, isn't it?
And it's hard,
It's hard.
heavy work. In the boutique, it's still hard work. It's lifting. I'm on my feet constantly, which is why I'm good for the marathon, because I do a marathon in the day anyway. So I'd be something that I could literally just go, bye.
Yeah.
I'd be a magician.
You'd be a magician.
Yeah, I'd be a magician.
I think you should do that now. I think you'd be great at it.
There you go.
Maybe a rabbit come out of there soon.
I'd quite like to be a content creator, I think. Yeah, I'm quite nosy, so I would be able to sneak up on people and just catch moments that nobody else has seen.
Yeah,
that's
good.
Yeah, so that would be me. What about you?
I think, look, I love the wedding dresses side of things. I love hearing people's personal stories. I'm really into just connecting with real people and having time with them.
My favourite bit in the boutique is asking how they met.
Yes, things like that.
Yeah.
So, and I think that would be so interesting. I love just seeing people like look their best as well and feel their best and feel magical.
This is going to sound, sorry guys, this is going to sound really weird, but I like seeing the bride vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because when they are vulnerable, the real them comes out and they choose their dress better than they do when they're playing them.
Yeah.
Because we all have a persona, don't we? Yeah, we all play 100%. A part.
Yeah.
But actually, when we're at home and the bra's off and the curtains are closed,
that's the first thing that happens. The bra is off.
Door locked, curtains closed, wine hand, bra off. Feet up.
Have you been spying on me?
Murder, She Wrote.
Love it.
But I like to get to know the real them, because then the dress that they actually pick is one that they've connected with, and it always shocks the people coming in on there, because they're like, that's not you.
Yeah.
But actually it is them.
Yeah. I think as well, like when we meet the couples with Boujee music, we talk to the couples and we get to know their story a bit, and I always ask questions, and I love to get to know their stories. And I think when you've got the bridal party at the boutique, I'm sure you hear so many stories, and you get to learn people's personalities. Do you get to learn people's personality types? Do you know what kind of a bride they're going?
Oh, 100%. I can suss a girl out within 2 dresses, I reckon.
That's a skill now.
Yeah, and it'll be, and I'll go, put that in. And my girls are trained that way as well, because they get to know them. The chatter in the changing room is really important. The girls, the brides, buy their dresses in the changing room.
Yeah.
And so they all say yes to that dress. So anybody that's going with brides choosing dresses, be mindful of what you say when they come out, because they may well have said yes to that dress in that changing room, and they come out and you'll go, no, I like the last one.
Yeah.
Before they've even and they're showing you that you can tell when they love it, because they're presenting it, they're showing it off, they're touching it. You know, you can just watch those signs and you will tell that they love that dress. Yeah. You know,
I think when my friend was trying her dress on, I fell in love with one of the dresses, and I was like, this is probably why she didn't tell me till the wedding day, because there was a dress that she wore, and I thought I know her so well. Yeah. I thought it was perfect, and she was.
Do you know her? Do you know her as bra off girl?
I do. Yes. Good. Oh, okay. Yes.
And that's it. You need to
20 years of friendship since university. Every story under the book. Yeah. We know each other very well. I think, you know, I needed to also be mindful at the boutique that I wasn't saying too much, and I was holding back a bit.
You're not there to help them choose the dress. No. You're there to be with them when they find the dress.
That's good advice.
It is. It's so important, because you can ruin the experience of the bride, and they'll never forget. Look at the questions that are coming in.
Yeah.
You know, they'll never forgive you, and they'll never forget it.
And the brides want good energy in that appointment as well, don't they?
Yeah. Another question to round off?
Yeah. Do you want to go?
Do it together.
Oh my goodness. Oh, right. I wrote my vows and I can't read them without crying. Oh, well, that's a good thing. My wedding is going to be a mess. Haha. Any tips? Love the pod, guys. Victoria. Victoria, that means you've written good words.
Yeah, and they mean something to you. Yeah. And crying's good, right?
Crying's good. Crying's healthy. And do you know what?
People come to see you cry.
They do. They do. And also, like we were saying, it's authentic, it's fun. You're being vulnerable. It's your wedding. If you can't be vulnerable on your wedding day, when can you be vulnerable?
I watched a beautiful reel this morning. I don't know where it was. It was on TikTok maybe or Instagram, and the groom got so emotional putting the ring on the finger. And you know what? People forget that is very intimate, isn't it? And that is the wedding. It's not the vows so much. Putting that ring on each other's finger is very intimate, and it's life changing. You know,
it is. And also, you know, some men aren't used to wearing jewellery.
No.
So for them, it's always like. Tim was staring at his hand, like constantly on. He stared at his hand more than he did at me on my honeymoon.
Couldn't get John's ring on day. He's got really big hands and really big fingers, and we'd already gone up the maximum.
Did you give him a napkin ring to wear?
No, pretty much so, yeah. And we had to get the size on, and so it was a fear, and it was hot, and he was like this, and I said, what if you do? Don't. Or so we'll get the ring on, and he'll be fine. But he did all the wrangling and whatever, and
also the more hot and sweaty, the more it's really not going to come off.
He does have some kind of arthritis in his hands as well, bless him, and so we couldn't get the ring on, and got it there, and he looked at me and went, "You're kidding me." I don't know if he thought I was pissing around, because like I do, and I went, oh God, you know, and I don't know what possessed me, but I licked his finger. It went on. Bit shoving, pushing, and licking.
Anyone's just tuning in now.
Yeah, if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, whatever you listen to, please go onto YouTube. Watch this.
So you licked his finger.
Yeah, pushed it.
Well, do you know what? It's a mother's kiss.
Listen. That is wrong.
I don't really know what I'm saying.
Right, let's end on this one. We had our day. It was the most amazing day. This is controversial, this one. We had a lot of beautiful gifts. We didn't have a gift list. Okay, so people just brought gifts.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, people don't need things anymore because they tend
people
to
don't buy toasters as much, do they?
No, although I do need one. So if you've got one spare, send it over.
Add it to your list.
Yeah, silver if possible. But I'll take chrome. But a lot did not give anything. Okay. We were banking on money to pay for a chunk of our wedding costs. Is it just me, or is this not normal anymore? Are people not giving money? Love, Poppy. See, the thing is, you're inviting these people not on the basis that they're going to give you money, but you know, each guest is costing you a good on £200. Probably more when you add all the aesthetics in and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think a good way to say it is, you know, maybe some money towards our honeymoon, because then people, ask on your, like, at the bottom of you. Some people want to know. For them,
I think the older people are probably the ones that don't give.
Yeah.
Because if they think, well, they've been living together,
that's true.
And don't think to give money. So we did on our invitation, we did a little poem.
Yeah.
Well, I must take it out. About we are saving up for, you know, a honeymoon of a lifetime. We have everything we want. If you did want to, you know, give us a little token gesture towards it, but we did it in a poem form. Yeah. And actually, people were really generous. We did have a lot of people that didn't.
Yeah.
And the postman gave us £50, which was a shock.
Where do you live? That's amazing.
It was such a shock because we opened them up. Wow. And John was like, oh my God, it's all this cash. You know, top tip, give somebody bodyguard rights over your post box.
That's true.
I'm hearing so many of these post boxes go missing because people think that there's lots of money in it, which sometimes there are.
Sometimes, you know, people are they might put some bank account details in the
checks.
invitation.
You can still use checks, right?
My granddad sent a check the other day for my child's birthday. Everyone's still.
Or go cashless and take little sum up card machine.
Yeah.
You can do it on your phone now.
Get it out from your dress. Get out your sum up card machine. Yep.
Put an iPad out with a QR code. I'm serious.
Do you know what? I think there's so many things these days you can do in so many different ways. Weddings are your own, and you can
unique.
QR codes are everywhere. It wouldn't be crazy if you went with a QR code. I'm
up for a QR code. You put a QR code on your right side of your dress. People can come up and just zap
your necklace,
earrings.
You just stand still. I'm trying to get the QR code.
You can put it on your coaster where the wine glass is. So every time they pick it up, it's there.
Yeah, slip it forward. Yeah, donate if you can.
Or you could get somebody after you've walked down the aisle, right? Like they do in the church with a collection plate. No? Too much?
I think we've gone. Beyond extraordinary now. But QR codes apparently are the future. So if you want to go with QR code, it's your wedding.
Let's do it. Oh, I think we're going to start a trend. If you are doing QR codes, will you let us know?
Yeah.
We want to know.
Do. If we started something, this would be amazing.
And any top tips for, you know, because money is important. You are, you know, I feel we're being forced to spend a lot more money than we are comfortable with spending because we want those photos and stuff like that.
Definitely. And like we say, the pressures of social media and everything like that, I think it's really important to remember that, you know, real versus fake, you know, lots of things can be orchestrated to look a certain way, and it's not always that way.
No, it's not. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode. Any top tips or any questions you have, keep them coming. We'll do another episode of this. You come back for that one?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you've been really brilliant. Where can we all find you?
Check out Boujee Music Live. So it's at Boujee Music Live, Boujee Music Live, on Instagram and all your favourite social networks.
We'll put all the links in the episode as well. Keep following us. Keep subscribing us. I'm looking at the wrong camera again. We are 3.5 million as we speak, and so that's growing, and that's thanks to you guys. Please comment on the episode as well. That's really helpful. It's helping couples getting married for those tips as well, and obviously our suppliers. You're looking for a wedding dress, come and see us at Love Me Do Brides. We will look after you, and we'll see you all again next week. Bye.